In this video, I'm going to share with you how agencies, coaches, consultants, and online service providers can make more money using a simple framework that, quite honestly, not very many people are talking about this exact strategy, which makes it your competitive advantage. And it's something that can both work on its own if you want to make this your own marketing strategy, or it's something that can work if you wanted to have it kind of sit on top of the other things you're doing. It would be like throwing gasoline on an existing fire. So let's go ahead and get into it here. So this is a little bit behind the scenes of one particular case study where we put this into play. So this is $93,000 in monthly recurring revenue. So that's what the MRR means, in case you're not familiar. So that means every month someone's paying on an ongoing basis based on the sales that were made through this funnel, $93,000. Now, the thing of it is that's monthly. So on an annualized basis, that's over $1.1 million. And there is an asterisk there. And the asterisk is that's what we can track. So basically, which I'll share with you when I show the framework a little bit more, it had to do with we're sending people to particular landing pages with tracking links and with particular calendars so that we could track it. But the reality is not everybody clicks on the links or goes to the calendars that you want. So when you put this system into play, which I'll show you here in a second how that works, people get excited and they're just like, all right, I woke up today and I'm saying, I'm going to go work with those people. So let me share with you how this particular system works. So let's get into it. So I'm going to share my screen. So we'll share with you step by step how you could implement something like this and how the framework works so you understand the chassis of it all. So let's get into that. So basically, this is a system where you're using a mix of events. Now, I'm not talking about big events where you got to get some fancy hotel contract. I'm talking about things that are online, like an online virtual summit, a webinar, or maybe something that's a little bit in between. And then you're also doing some webinars along the way as well, which I know that's a little bit repetitive, but I like to consider the events to be really more the virtual summits. And so I'm actually going to say that here, summits, just to make that a little clearer. And then email marketing. And you might say, okay, that's kind of boring. How's that going to help me? All right, so let's walk through this process of how you can implement something like what I just showed with the result that we had achieved. So basically, and that was for an agency, a marketing agency that was doing about 8 figures, or actually over 8 figures in revenue. And so we put that on top of their existing system. That's why I'm able to say, because they're doing more than $1.1 million. So if our system got them $1.1 million in trackable annualized revenue, we know the number is probably more than that. So let's show how that would work. So basically, you have summits. And the summits are something where it's like you bring on maybe 20 to 30 speakers, and then they share it out to their list because they're excited to be part of an event. They're getting value out of it because a lot of times people that are speakers or niche celebrities in your space, they want to get their name out there. So you're giving them a platform to get their name out there. So they're excited. And, oftentimes they will share it out to their email list, their social media followings, because they want people to see that they're part of this event. So that helps you build your list. So you will get an influx of not just, ideally, if you do it the way I would recommend, you get revenue, but you also are going to get email lists. So now you have people on your email list, which you can send them offers ongoing. You can send them to your content. You're building that relationship over time so that when you do make an offer, you're not just some random person they've never heard of. They got value from your event, your virtual summit, which you didn't have to travel halfway across the world. You brought together maybe 15 to 20 speakers. I should probably clarify that. So maybe 15 to 20 speakers, which even if you don't have tons of contacts in your space, it's a very warm conversation to say, hey, I'm putting on an event. Would you like to speak? Even if they're not available to do it, oftentimes they're still excited that you said you even thought of them. And you'd be amazed how some people, who might seem like big people in your space will be like, oh, wow, I really appreciate that. And they're genuinely excited about it. So it starts building a relationship with them. So then you could also host some mini events which we'll call these webinars. I also like to use the term masterclass. I think with the general public, if you call them a webinar, people think, oh, it's just going to be a sales pitch. Well, I suggest you offer actual value. And so you can use your email list to get people to your webinars. Now, you can also continue to email them, warm them up, let them know about your offers that you have, let them know maybe about future events. So it becomes this flywheel that you're running summits, maybe, a couple times a year. You're doing email marketing in between, maybe about once a month, you host a webinar, doing more email marketing. And then you have your offer. And that might be you're sending people to a calendar. Maybe you're sending people to a sales page. You're sending them somewhere. So you have all this. And the nice thing is, with this framework, all along the way, you're sending people to your offers. Now, I talked about how not all the time is this something you can track. So if you do it right, ideally, whatever systems you're using, you're using tags, or maybe you create specific calendars so that you know that the people who sign up came from a particular offer. But sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes what happens is they attend all of your summits, your webinars, they see your emails, so they're constantly reminded of you, so you stay top of mind. But one day, because they've been attending all these things, so this is a bed, they get out of their bed and they wake up and they just say, you know what, it's time to work with these people. But they don't always go to the exact calendar that you want them to. Like, they're not going to go back into their email inbox and be like, what was that specific calendar they wanted me to go to? Sometimes they do. But most of the time they go to Google, or they just go directly to your website and they look you up, and they might go to your contact page, or they find some other way. Like, all of a sudden they sign up for some offer because they, found somewhere else. They just know they want to work with you. And the reason that is because you took them through this particular funnel. And it works because you've got these summits, you've got emails, you've got webinars, and you got more emails, and it's a flywheel and it keeps on going. Now, I call this the Grow marketing system. And that's because you're going to generate leads. Here, you're going to, in your emails, you're going to relate authentically. So that's the R. This is the G. If you can't tell, handwriting was not my strong suit as a kid. And my kids like to remind me it still isn't. So hopefully I even spelled that right, but it's authentically. I authentically misspelled it. All right, so then we're going to offer value, and that's in your webinars. Now, we're doing these kind of go with one another. So it's not always like you're only offering value in your webinars. You're not only offering value in your emails. You're not only relating authentically in your emails. You're not only generating leads in your summits, because you know what? You can generate leads from your webinars. You can invite speakers and maybe have 2-3 speakers, and they help share it out. And then that's a great way to also build your list. So anyway, we're going to offer value, and then we're going to win clients. And for you, that term might be customers, whatever it is. So that is our GROW. So our summits help us generate leads. So that could be hundreds or possibly even thousands, depending on your niche and how engaged that is and the size of the audiences of your speakers. And you could do that and even not have a huge list to start off with. Although the thing about this system is the more you do this, the more it compounds, the bigger your list is. So the more people you get to your summits, the bigger of an event it gets, the more speakers you're able to attract, the more you're going to get your speakers to get excited, and then they're going to share it to their lists even more. So basically, that helps you generate your leads. Then we're going to relate authentically again with our emails, offering value in our webinars, and we're winning clients over time. And sometimes they just wake up over time and they don't necessarily go to the specific pages and ways we're trying to track all this. They just go to their uh, friendly phone or their computer, and they Google you or they look you up on your website, and they maybe go to your contact page. They maybe go to some other calendar, but maybe it's not the way you were hoping to track it. And that's okay, because this system compounds on itself. So basically, the gist of it is, this is how we were able to generate that $93,000 in monthly recurring revenue for that one particular agency that I was telling you about at the beginning. So if you'd like to see how maybe you can put together your own grow marketing system, just type in workbook in the chat, and down below, either myself or somebody on my team, we will get you a link so you can get your own workbook, where basically you can start putting together some of the things to think about as you are setting up your own system like this, making sure that you're targeting the right people, having the right messaging and things of that nature, and it'll help walk you through all of that. So my name is Kevin Sanderson from LGN Marketing, and I thank you for being here, and I wish you the best in your lead generation and nurturing activities.